All right. Can I just get, because Michael, I could see you as one of the little boxes. Can I just get a thumbs up that you see my screen? Okay. All right. So welcome everybody. This session is being recorded. This is the ASSC election 2022 informational meeting. Although this is official, it is pretty casual. We're going to run through this within the next half an hour to 45 minutes and also leave a lot of time for your questions. When it gets to the Q&A, I will stop recording just so everybody knows. So if you could save questions, write them down. Um, I'd really appreciate that. Um, that little picture is me. I am your ASSC co-advisor, Ryan Sam. And today's agenda looks pretty simple. It's going to be introductions first, followed by a check-in question. After that, we're going to talk about what happens after you turn in the packet. For the fourth item, we're going to talk about campaigning. For the fifth, we're going to talk about the voting process and timelines. And then number six, officer duties. And there's a few other things I didn't mention in there, but it's part of officer duties as well. So before we get to our introductions, here's a little about who we are. And I do have to leave here so I could bring you all to the Padlet. Okay, here we go. And we are the Center for Student Life. Again, I'm box number 2. I'm Ryan Sam. I'm the student life assistant. We are a 2-person department with a student assistant staff. I am outside of here, I'm still an educator. I'm a cultural practitioner and a writer. But for the department, I handle all the paperwork, logistics, and making sure that everything's organized for our office, Center for Student Life. I gave you my educational background, and I'm going to give you all this Padlet so you can take a look at it as well. But you know, Alvin and I, we made this just to introduce ourselves. I mean, we're a little bit of a different generation than others, in a sense that we try to find like creative ways to do things, and so Padlet is really our best friend to do so. Alvin, if you're here, would you like to introduce yourself?
What's good, everybody? Alvin Gubatina, Student Life Initiative Manager, Skyline College. Happy to have y'all here. Like Ryan said, we just want to be able to connect with y'all on means and ways that could be helpful for y'all. And we're always looking to see what is everybody most used to so that we could connect best with you. So thank you for letting me be here.
It's an honor. So, like I said, 2-person department. It's our student life manager, which is Alvin, student life assistant, which is myself. I want to introduce also to you all Michael. Michael Sagum, if you could please unmute and introduce yourself as well.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Sagum. I am a current ASSC Commissioner of Publicity. I also work here in the Center for Student Life as a student assistant. I'm definitely here and excited to see what y'all are gonna do.
Michael's kind of our right-hand man right now because not only is he Commissioner of Publicity in the ASSC student government, but Michael's also our student assistant who works here. And that being said, with him being our right-hand man, we have our right-hand woman, which is Winshui Yi. She is also student assistant here. Winshui, did you want to unmute yourself and introduce yourself real quick?
Hello everyone. I'm Win Shui, but everyone calls me Win. Um, I'm here as a student assistant, and also I'm also a senator at ASSC. But for the next term, I'll be rerunning for the president position. So yay! Nice to meet you all.
Thank you. And I understand some of y'all are on the call and maybe you're even like in between classes or doing something else because it is like on a weekday morning. So I appreciate you being here. So if you can't unmute yourself, no worries for that. But I'm just going to go ahead and call some folks that I see on here. Anthony, did you want to say hello, introduce yourself real quick?
Hey everyone, my name is Anthony. I'm the ASSC president, and if you haven't met me yet, I'm always in the ASSC room, which is right next to the student life office. And uh, yeah, if anyone has any questions, I can also help with that.
Wonderful. And then I think just I see Nin, I see Kesha, I see Win, Lorenzo, and Win. Did anyone want to introduce themselves if possible? If you can't, I understand you could type it in the chat or we can just move on.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Uh, I am Wen Ma'u. So everyone call me Wen also. So another Wen. Shui. And I saw Wen Theory also. So we have 3 Wen here. Okay. So this is my first time joining ASSC. So I ran it as senator. Yeah, nice to meet you, everyone. Hope we have the opportunity to work together and to learn together.
And Win, what a beautiful name, because in English it's synonymous with winning, right? Win, which is very good luck. So I would say that I'm glad to have 3 wins on the team, and I think that's a good thing. Thank you, Win. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. In Myanmar, when meaning shining.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, that's double good luck, right? Okay, so then we have Kesha. I think you're on an AI. If you're not able to introduce yourself, I know you're running for senator. Amazing person. Was glad to check in with you. We have Wintiri also. Nin, if you're able to unmute yourself, that'd be great. And then Lorenzo as well. Anybody can go.
Hi everyone, my name is Nan and I'm running for the Vice President position. Yeah, I'm currently working as a student ambassador at the Indonesian Student Program office, and yeah, this is also my first time joining like to all the club, and I'm very excited about it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nin. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we're glad to have you aboard. Lorenzo, are you able
Yeah.
to unmute, or did you want me to just say you're running for senator, or? No worries. So thank you, Lorenzo. Glad to have you here as well. Oh, no worries. It's okay. So Lorenzo's here as well, running for student senator. So just really glad to have y'all here. Real quick, I know that some of y'all just mentioned you can't unmute, which is fine. So for those of you who are running, we just have a quick check-in question. We don't like to jump right into business. That's not our style. My question for you is, if you could plan one event to lead on campus, what would you like to do and why? So if obviously I do plan the events on campus. I help to plan the events on campus, but if I had to tell y'all about something that I know that I wanted to do before was I wanted to have more involvement with our Pacific Islander students because we don't have a Pacific Islander learning communities such as MANA at CSM. And so our office goes and makes sure that our Pacific students are feeling welcomed and feeling included and feeling that their culture is also highlighted. So our office just makes sure to highlight those cultures as well. And what I would like to do with it is well, I do events, but if I were a student, I'd be saying that I'd like to see an event in which we have like some speakers and some folks to come and talk to our students, maybe Pacific Islanders in higher education. So I would like to collaborate with ASSC to make that happen as a college lecture series. So yeah, just real quick, think about it for a minute. And if you want to just go ahead and type in the chat, you can. I'll read it out loud. Or if you want to unmute yourself, just go for it.
Can I say?
Yes, absolutely.
Uh, if I could plan one event to lead on campus, I would like to do like fresher welcome for new students for every country, because here we have a lot of international students and local students also. So as an international student, my first semester at that time, we didn't have that kind of pressure welcome. So I feel like uh, I don't know how can I say. Yeah, I feel like, oh, it would be great if we have some kinds of advanced that welcome the new student. Yeah, yeah, that's something I want to do.
That's great. Yeah, an event for freshmen. Yes, yes, you're right. And unfortunately, hasn't always been included in those events, but outreach does do a lot of those, and it's just a matter of making sure we include that in like a welcome week package with outreach. And I'm glad you say that. Maybe you could help us for the fall to plan welcome week. Thank you so much. I'm not going to force everybody to answer just for the sake of time, and it's being recorded. Was there anyone else that wanted to uh, take a crack at it and answer our check-in question?
I can go. It's a
Sure.
quick one that I thought of. It could be something like an international day or name something else where everyone can share their culture from their country, because this is a community college and I'm sure there are like people from different countries, and they can just make a little table where they can share part of their culture, maybe like a food, maybe they can dress up if they have their traditional clothes, just like an event where people can just share their culture and then can be representing different countries even if they're not from it. So yeah, that's it.
Well, that sounds beautiful. And ISP does do that, right? They were doing that prior to COVID. So maybe it's just a matter of helping them to organize and see what they need to make that happen. But I definitely would love that. And I love learning about other cultures. Okay, wonderful. So, see, I just wanted to at least give y'all a chance to talk and just kind of get into this casually so that you guys understand too that yes, this is business. Yes, this is a lot of information that you're gonna get, but we never just jump right into business. We always make sure to check in on each other and also have something kind of creative to hear each other's voice and opinions. So we'll just jump right in then. The first thing is that all y'all turn in your packets. Great. I see also too, real quick, I see that we have Sarah here. So Sarah, welcome. Glad to have you here. You're running for Commissioner of Public Records. So really glad to have you here. But yeah, after the packets are turned in, what can we do? So there is a small period in between now and actual voting time in which you all are basically in between, and there's other than campaigning, we're going to talk about a couple things you could do to kind of get yourself prepared to run, not run, but become an elected official. So the first thing you could do is learn about our ASSC meetings by visiting us on Tuesday. We have one tomorrow. You're not required to come, but it does help because after you're elected into office, starting from fall in August all the way through to next May, you are required every single Tuesday to be there from 4 to 6 p.m. This is mandatory. There's no wiggle room. There's only one position that does not need to be there. That's an associate senator. Associate senators would not be any of you because you're all going for the election. Associate senators get appointed only if there's no room for senators. So associate senators actually do not have voting power, and so that's why they're not required to go to all the meetings. Alan, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna mute you real quick. Thank you. Just unmute if you need to. Okay. Okay, so the next thing is you can ask me to connect you with your predecessor. Predecessor it means the person who has your job prior. So for example, if you don't mind me using a couple of you as an example for that, it would be Sarah, you are running for Commissioner of Public Records. If you wanted to connect with your predecessor, or I know you're running against somebody, but if you did want to connect with the current Commissioner of Public Records, then I would connect you with Chantel. Chantel's very nice. She could tell you the ins and outs of the job. She can tell you what has been expected of her, what's been a challenge, what she thinks you need to know. Maybe she'll even teach you what to do. So it really depends on you to make that connection, but I can connect you if that's something that you wanted. Again, just want to remind you all, if you have questions, to write them down and save them for the Q&A. We'll answer them after this recorded session is done. The third thing is, after reading the ASSC bylaws, get familiar with Robert's Rules and the Brown Act. So there are ASSC bylaws. They are posted on our ASSC website. That's very important. You don't have to memorize every single one, but it's good to know what the bylaws are so that you are familiar with what the actual rules and laws are for the council. In addition, we have something called Robert's Rules and another thing called the Brown Act. We never have a meeting that is, I take that back. We do have meetings that are informal, but our meetings on Tuesday at 4 p.m., unless otherwise indicated, are always formal and go by Robert's Rules and the Brown Act. These are parliamentary procedures in which we have to follow official guidelines that are based on these rules. And those guidelines are things like making sure that the agenda is available for all attendees prior to the meeting. It is things like allowing the chair to have full power over running the meeting, not Alvin and I. It's not our meeting. The chair is the president. The president would then get to call on each item according to an agenda. The Commissioner of Public Records, which is the secretary for the president, takes minutes. Everything's all in order. Even if you have a question, you have to make sure that you're following all these things. So you can't just come to a meeting and just speak out, right? You have to actually make a motion to approve things. You can second it. There's procedures for voting, what happens if this happens, etc. So I hope that makes sense. And if you're a little confused by it, don't feel overwhelmed. We will train you in the summer about most of these items. The next thing is campaigning. So as you know, you can campaign. It's not required, although we do recommend it, right? Because your chances of winning are the difference between somebody who was eating cafeteria and just saw on the bulletin board, vote for Win Shui Yi, versus not knowing who the candidate is at all, right? So when they finally get the ballot that comes into their email, and then they see they see two candidates, they might remember better the one who campaigned, right? So posters and flyers are permissible. You can go old school and draw them. You can be modern and make something on Canva and print it out. Videos and usage of social media is permissible as well. But that brings me to point number 3. All materials must be approved by myself, which is student life assistant, or the student life staff before being shared. All that takes is for you to walk on up and show it to us at the front counter. This is what I plan to post. Is this okay? We'd take a look and we'd say yes or no, or you can email it to me and I can approve it by email. Number 4, all materials must be appropriate for school and follow our school code. So sometimes, like in the past, we've had folks that have had some racy material. We want to make sure that in our campaign materials, we're fully dressed, we're wearing something appropriate for school, there's no profanity, there's nothing, I know that some people even think memes are funny to use, but they have to be appropriate. You should not have anything that's questionable, that someone can perceive as sexist or racist, nothing like that. So if you do use a little humor, just make sure it's not offensive. And that brings me to number 5, which is that candidates may reach out to Michael Sagum, our Commissioner of Publicity, to have their flyer or story added to ASSC social media page. So Michael, who's on the call right now, he does manage our social media accounts, which are Instagram and Facebook, and you are allowed to put your items on there. You just have to talk to him about it. Let's see, I have something in the chat real quick. Let's see. Okay, cool. Yep, he'll answer it all. And then again, like I said, campaigning is optional, but we highly recommend it for officers who are opposed on the ballot, meaning there's 2 of you running for president or 2 for commissioner of public records. This increases your chances to win by vote. And then I just wanted to quote real quick from the actual bylaws. what it looks like in terms of the campaigning. It can take place on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Must be screened by our office, making sure that the content is appropriate and also follows our marketing guidelines. Candidates must send this to me, or they can, like I said, walk up to our office and show it to us. Once they get confirmation, then they can share it to social media. And you can also create a free Adobe Spark page to showcase yourself as a candidate for the specific position. Next, we're going to get into timeline. So already March 1st is when everything began, and y'all got your packets in by April 1st, which is great. Now, between April 1st and the 18th, campaigning is now. You have, let's see, it's still only the 11th, so you have a whole week to campaign if you'd like to do so. But if it's not in your timeline and time frame to do so, because you have too many classes going on and things going on, don't worry about it. Like we said, campaigning is recommended but not mandatory. On Tuesday, April 19th in the morning, every single registered student for the spring 2022 semester will be sent a personal email. The personal email is sent to their my.smccd email based on G number, so no student is allowed to vote twice. This year, we are not doing voting in person. Ballots will only be electronic by my.smccd email. And then students may be entered into a drawing in which their G number is taken out at random. And it says Apple product prize, but we have some other prizes from the bookstore. So this happens on the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st. The poll closes on the 21st. So even if they still have their email, after the 21st, they can't vote anymore. On the morning of Friday, April 22nd, our results will be reviewed, and then they will be posted to the ASSC website and social media after 12 p.m. on the 22nd. If there's any discrepancies in our data, we do reserve the right to post the data late on Monday. But as always, these dates are subject to change on availability and the circumstances. Also, if you are elected, right? If you do win and your name shows up on the results, all ASSC incoming officers are going to attend an ASSC-led orientation on Thursday, May 19th from 10 to 2 in person, and Friday, May 20th from 10 to 2 in person here in our office. And this is mandatory for all elected officials. And then Alvin, sorry, I know I had muted you from some sound, but did you want to add anything there for the timeline, or are you good to go?
Nothing to add, but really want to encourage y'all when you do, if you do win, really want to encourage y'all to make space for that mandatory meeting, because this will be led by our current ASCC council, and they are the ones creating this orientation, because I want to put them in the position to teach y'all what they wish they could have known, so that when you do go to this orientation, you have a little bit more understanding of what's going to be asked of you in the fall. Because hearing that a good amount of y'all is the first time being in student government or taking a really high position or in responsibility in this way, I think it's definitely going to be helpful for you to come so that you have an understanding of what's going to be asked of you in the fall.
Thank you so much, Alvin. Now you heard it from the student life manager himself. He wants you to be there. He's inviting you to be there. You should be there. We are asking that you be there. So please plan ahead. You have a whole month to clear your schedule. If you do have a class during that time, I can write you a letter. You just have to email me, say, Ryan, I need a letter to get out of my biology 110 class. Here's a professor's name and the time, and I'll get you that letter, or I'll write to your professor myself. Okay. Okay, now we're getting into duties of all AS officers. So I'm going to run through this real quick, but this is expected of each person. Now, this list is not the only duties that you have, because each position does have special requirements and duties according to what your your job position is. So this is just the general one for everybody, right? As I mentioned before, you do have to attend every single AS meeting, which is 2 hours long, 4 to 6 on Tuesdays. It does not change. The third bullet point, when you do When you are in office, you have to attend the mandatory leadership training retreats every semester. They begin at the beginning of each semester, and depending on the availability of our staff, they could happen in the middle as well. We'll let you way ahead in advance. We'll let you know what dates those are, okay? Actively participate in preparing or be present for AS events in person or online. This is very important. From day one, I'm telling you, even before you get into office, we do want you at most events, if not all events. It's impossible to go to all events. If you can't attend one of the events, you should help us with the planning. The next one is talking about promoting events and also, in person, it'd be like decoration, setup, cleanup. If it's in person, filling virtual roles for online events. That's really important. Making sure to serve on college governance committees as appointed by the council. So at the beginning of the semester, the council will appoint officers to join these councils that happen. The committees happen on campus, but they are certain groups that are led by certain staff and faculty that want student representation. So you need to think about at least being part of one or two. Perform assigned tasks in a timely manner and meet assigned deadlines consistently. So that's something that we look for as well. Meet with student life manager on a bi-weekly basis or check in for appointments. That's something that I'll help you set up. Once you're in office, we'll set it up starting August so that you can meet with Alvin. Have a clear understanding of Title IX and SMCCCD COVID-19 safety precautions. This one I can't stress enough. You all did the Title IX training to be able to turn in your packet, which I appreciate. The definition today of sexual harassment is not the old school definition, and it's important that you highlight and understand that while we're working together in this space. And also COVID, right? I know folks are tired of masks and things like that, but we still need masks in our office and in the AS room. And you can take it off while eating, but we just need to make sure that folks, if they're going to be in person, they're also vaccinated. And I see in the chat there is, oh yes, absolutely. Just to give you a heads up, these are the apps we use. We do use social media. We use Facebook and Instagram. I do suggest that you make an Instagram account. This has to do with helping us to promote events. You don't have to give your personal Instagram account if it's your partying account or your hobby account. You don't have to give it to ASSC, but maybe think about and consider, it's not mandatory, but maybe consider making like an actual ASSC account. So like Winchway Yi ASSC Vice President at, that's the panhandle. Because it would help you a lot to connect with folks, right? We do use Padlet, we use Jamboard, we use Guamail, which is sending emails out to the whole campus. We use that through MCPR, and then we also use Ad Astra to reserve rooms. When emailing us, most people don't have an issue, but this is just something that we need you to know as you're going to be collaborating with us and working with us closely. And this is not everything, just a few things, but please, when you email us, address us or people by their titles. So when you're writing to Alvin, when you're writing to Michael, it'd be, it sounds kind of funny, but you could say, hello, Alvin, or you could say, to the student life manager, and then put anything under that you need to, which would be, before anything, greetings and manners. Please use those. That's really important. Using please and thank you go a long way. CC everyone that needs to be involved. So if the conversation includes myself and Anthony, then you want to CC Anthony, or something to that effect of vice versa. If you're writing Anthony and I'm involved somehow in this communication, you want to CC myself and Alvin. Double check your info, make sure your links, dates, times, all that is good to go. I did include an example. So this is an email I just wrote to Alvin, and you could see that it says, good morning, Alvin. So I'm greeting him with his name. I hope your weekend was well. So something to start it out, right? You don't want to just jump right into business. I'm emailing you, so this is the what and the why, to show our students how to properly send an email for business items and clear communication between students and our department. This email will be used as a screenshot. So there's my how, and then I thank him for his time. Thank you for your time. Look forward to hearing from you soon. And then I put an actual, and you can customize this, but my name is here, my title, and my contact info in case he can't reach me by email. Okay? So now we'll get to questions, and I will stop recording. For all those that are watching the recording, if you have any questions, go ahead and write to us either by email or writing to us in any other way. I'm going to stop recording.